Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Moxxie Coaching Podcast. My name is Michelle, and I'll be your host as we explore what coaching is and how it can help you create your best life. If you're anything like me, it's important to you to give back in some way. Maybe it's volunteering in the soup kitchen. Maybe it's donating $1 million to environmental research. It doesn't really matter. I started coaching and podcasting because I'm just one person who can only do so much alone. And I realized that through coaching and through podcasting, I could help and support those of you who want to do good works and exponentially increase the amount of good that I'm able to do. So if this sounds like you, please be sure to like and subscribe, and I look forward to seeing you soon. Be well. Hey everyone, welcome back to another episode of the Moxxie Coaching and Tarot Podcast. Thank you so much for being here, everybody. I do greatly appreciate it. The listenership is growing, and it's just really fun for me to see that. And, it's reinforcement, of course, to keep the podcast going. So I just wanted to let you all know, those of you who are listening, those of you who are sharing with your friends, I greatly do appreciate it. All right. So I did a reading for a young woman not too long ago. She, I think, just turned 20, I'm thinking. And she was looking for some feedback on her love life. She had told me that she had gotten out of a relationship with someone. She was heartbroken. Then she started to date somebody else she really kind of liked, but he turned out to be a player. All of this dating drama that we all have. And so she was frustrated and basically kind of wanted to know, hey, have I met someone? Have I already met the person that I'm going to be with and I don't recognize them? Or, is it going to be somebody down the road? And, basically help. I'm frustrated as heck. So I did the reading for her, and it was just a really nice reading, and it was a great example of, mostly anyway, the perfect cards showing up. And that doesn't always happen, but sometimes it does. And so I wanted to share this episode with you just so, as you work through learning to read for yourself and maybe even for other people, it's nice, I think, on occasion to see someone else's or hear someone else's um, interpretation of things and see how they do things, and learn. What I want you guys to be able to do is take the cards and tell a story with the cards, not simply look at them as individual units of information, but to look at them as a whole, as each card potentially is a page of the same story. And I think that in some ways, this particular reading demonstrates that pretty well. So I'm going to edit out her name. She has quite an unusual name, just for privacy's sake. But I think that's about it. So let's jump in and figure out how to help this lovely young person work through her stuff. Just a little bit of information about me before we get started, because I always feel that it's appropriate for people to know who's digging around in their personal lives. I am a life coach who works with people to teach them how to self-coach using the tarot. I have a podcast and a YouTube channel, both that sort of support that work that I do. So if you have any interest in those, you can check them out. There will be a link to my website in the email that you receive, and you can find everything from there if you wanted to go explore a little bit. All right, so in terms of your reading, I think you kind of asked 3 questions. What I got out of your questions or out of your message was that you would like some feedback about the direction your love life is going, where it's headed. You also want to know if you have met the person that you're supposed to be with. And I'm interpreting that question to mean, have you met the person that you're supposed to partner up with, for a long-term relationship, marriage, long-term partnership of some sort? And when I ask that question will include even people that you've not dated, because, there are times when there are people in our lives that we end up with, and we never would have thought that they would be a good match for us. So when we ask that question, that will be with the idea that we're including people in addition to those that you've dated, and then, something has happened. And then the last question, and this was a little bit more implied, but this is the coach in me coming out. And I think a good question to ask the cards is if they can give us a couple suggestions for what you can do to make choices that are more appropriate for you, that that feel better to you, choices that how am I trying to articulate this? That okay, this is what I'm how can you trust your gut more? Because it sounds like, you have had some situations where you were surprised. And a lot of times we're not really surprised deep down. And if we had trusted our gut, maybe we would have made a different choice. So that's kind of where I'm going with that question is, what can you do to start paying a little bit more attention, being a little more intentional about the people that you're willing to give your time to, right? So, okay, let's see what we get. I'm going to pull 2 cards for the love life outlook. We will pull 2 cards for what you can do to be a little bit more clued in to your own needs when you make choices about who you date. And then we're just going to pull 1 card for have you met the person you are supposed to be with. We're going to start with that card. And just cutting the cards real quick. I switched out my deck when I saw your picture. I don't know why. I normally use a crow deck, one that's kind of a little bit emo. And for whatever reason, I was told to use the fairy deck today. So I hope that it resonates with you. Okay, so I already cut the cards. First question, have you met the person you are supposed to be with? 6 of Wands. Okay. Next question. Love life outlook for the next few months. I need you to know that the tarot is great at giving you a snapshot of where things are today. It is not the best tool for looking into the future. And I say that because we all have free will. As human beings, there are so many factors involved in everything that happens, right? I mean, think about even simple things like the number of factors involved in a cat crossing the street. Is it stopping? Is it looking? Is it looking for other cats? Is it looking, all of these things, all of the decisions. So all of those things and all of that energy affects the reading. So we're going with a short time frame, and with the caveat that if you make a massive change or someone involved potentially in the situation makes a massive change, then the reading itself or the cards would, what am I trying to say? The reading would seem inaccurate. Okay. So these two cards, the Death card and the Moon. Okay. So these are two major arcana cards, and they're two really strong ones. We'll talk about that. And then the last question, what can you do? Where can you go inside? What is it that you can do to figure out a way to make choices that are healthier for you and feel better for you? Ace of Cups and the Lovers. Okay. All right. The Six of Wands is a card that shifts a little bit depending on the situation. And I typically will read it based on the situation as well as what my intuition says. And so this card is in relationship to have you met the person that you are supposed to be with? The Six of Wands is kind of a card of victory on one hand. You'll see in the picture here that there are two elf or fairy boys who are in the image. One of them is holding up a baby dragon, and the other one is looking at him with annoyance, to say the least. So we have this sense of victory and see, I told you so, because this deck in particular, long story. Anyway, so it's this feeling of one guy is saying, yeah, I told you, this is it. I am victorious. I knew this was a dragon egg. You didn't believe me, and ha, I told you so. And then the other guy is sitting there, just kind of ticked off and being annoyed. So how does this fit in to the question about have you met the person that you're supposed to be with? What I'm getting is that this is a no, that you have a tendency to meet and be attracted to people who are a little bit like the guy that is holding the dragon up, right? The people who are a little bit more, they take up more space in the world. And the people who maybe they would certainly relish being right. They would certainly maybe even be a little bit of an egotistical ass about it. And while on some level people like this are attractive because they're so confident and they're so charismatic, and it's easy to be attracted to someone like that. They are sometimes more shallow. The relationship is, and when I say they're more shallow people, it's what I'm getting this feeling that there are people who either are not that interested in being, in a loving adult relationship, or they're people who are, but just aren't mature enough to be a part of something like that and be in an equal partnership. So I think what I'm saying in a much smaller nutshell is I think that this card is saying, you have met the types of people that you're attracted to, and you have learned that they're not necessarily the best match for you. So no, you have more than likely not met the person that you are going to be with. Now, in terms of the love life outlook, for the next 3 months. We have the Death card and the Moon card. Like I said, and wow, you have 3 major arcana cards in a 6-card reading, or a 5-card reading, so that's very significant right there. Major arcana cards carry just a little bit more weight to them than cards that are in the minor arcana. So they're more about kind of the big universal life experiences, and so often, the cards that they come up around are around universal big life experiences. And you have 2 of them in relationship to the love life outlook. Now, the Death card is a first of all, this one's a really cool image. But the card itself is not about someone dying. It's not suggesting that you are going to be dying. It's not suggesting someone you care about is going to be dying. What this card asks us to look at is figurative death. Death of a way of being. Death of a habit. Death of a cycle in life. So it could be, it could be a death of a relationship. It could be the death of the end of a job, right? Something that is just coming to a close. So it is not a bad card by any stretch of the imagination. So the question that we need to ask, though, is why is it coming up in relationship to your love life outlook? Well, when we pair it with the Moon, which again is another major arcana card, and the Moon is a card of mystery. It is one of the 2 most mysterious cards in the deck. And basically what the Moon tells us is we can't know everything. There are things that right now we are not supposed to know. And it's a suggestion to us to use our intuition, to recognize where things are. It's kind of that idea of, sort of coming to terms with something, especially the combination of these 2 cards. Coming to terms with something big that is changing in your life because it's coming up in relationship to your question. More than likely, this combination of cards is saying, yeah, no, there's not going to be, you are not going to meet your partner in the next few months. But you are going through a change, and this change is going to impact how things are for you in the future. And your job right now is not to be even thinking about partners, not even thinking about it. Your job right now is to think about yourself, to think about what in your past relationships has worked, what hasn't worked, what do you want, what don't you want, and let go of the things that have not been serving you. Let go of maybe choosing looks over integrity. And I don't know. I mean, God knows I've made my horrible choices. So, no shade there. But you know what I'm saying. So to really look at where you are, to take the time and to say to the Moon, okay, I get it. You are playing games and you do not want me to know immediately. You're going to make me work for this information. Then pick up the torch, take it on, and just spend some time looking at big picture. Um, what type of person do you want to be with? Leave out the external things. Leave out how much money they make. Leave out what they look like. Leave out what they do for a living. What kind of person do you want to be with? How do you feel when you're with the person that you want to be with versus how do you feel when you're with these other people? And really dig down and look at those types of things. And the moon will pony up its secrets. You just have to take the time and be committed to figuring out what it has to say. Now, you have an advantage here in that your birth card is the High Priestess. And the High Priestess is kind of the human equivalent of the moon. And basically what this means is that as a High Priestess birth card, you have a lot of intuitive ability, whether you realize it or not. And so I think that the other thing that this combination of cards is pointing at is that, yes, it's a good thing to do the work to figure out, to try to get the moon to, tell you what it's what it's not telling you. But I think really this is an invitation for you to step into your power as this High Priestess person. Let go of all of the bullshit. Sorry. Anyway, let go of it all. And kind of put yourself in a place where you're not dating or choosing based on anything but what feels really, really good to you in your gut. Meaning you're not going out with somebody just because they ask for your number and you're bored, right? You're not going to spend your time on people like that. Spend your time on people who, once you figure out what it is, can meet those needs for you. Okay? And now the last question, what can you do to kind of make some better choices? Well, you have two really lovely romantic cards here. You have the Ace of Cups and the Lovers. Lovers is another major arcana. The Ace of Cups is a card of new possibilities, new potential. And cups are all about emotion, intuition, creativity, love, all of the warm fuzzies, right? That's what the cups are about. And the Ace of Cups really tells us that there's a window of opportunity here for you in this realm. And it's not a really long window of opportunity. Usually it's a month or so, maybe a couple months. But basically it's saying that there is this energy available to you right now to start something new in the realm of emotion or intuition or feeling, learning to connect your mind and your intuition a little bit better. Okay, so there's possibility for you there, which is really nice. And then the Lovers is the Lovers card. It is the card of ultimate partnership. It's the card of support, card of unconditional caring for someone else. Now, how does that all fit in to what you can do to make better choices. I think that the combination of these cards are saying, essentially, take this time to explore, to look at yourself. You are the new project. You are the new love of your life for this Ace of Cups. Your job is to spend some time loving yourself enough to figure out who you are, what you have to offer. Really step into the power of what you have to offer and own it. Because I don't know why, but the gut feeling that I'm getting is that it's easy for you to see all of the wonderful things about someone else, but maybe not so much about yourself. And you have got a lot going on. Give yourself credit for it, and don't give it away for free, meaning don't devalue it or undervalue it. That's what I mean. Anybody would be lucky, right, to have somebody who cares the way you do. So I think really that it's almost like the Death card and the Moon card are saying, yeah, no, this, your love life is not going to blossom into butterflies and rainbows in the next little while because you got some work to do. And we are here, both of these very strong cards, both of these very strong women are here to support you in doing that work, in looking inside and figuring out your own stuff, okay? And what you can do to make better choices is to learn to love yourself. Learn to value yourself the same way. When you look at this card, you'll see that these two people in this card value one another. And it is so freaking hard to do. I understand it. I'm way, way, way older than you. And it's something that I still work on to really, truly, deep down, love, value, and respect ourselves enough that we're more choosy about who we give our time, attention, love, body, whatever it is, to. Okay? And this is a really lovely, empowering as hell reading, and I'm just thrilled to see it for you. I hope that you see it this way. If you were my daughter, I would say yes, 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 yes. Yeah, it's a good reading. So it may not be exactly what you want. If you're looking for the summer of love coming up, this might not be it. This is the summer of falling in love with. And once we get that taken care of, then we'll work out the rest. Okay? All right, my dear, that is your reading. I hope that it resonates. I hope that it is helpful for you. All right, everyone, that is the reading for this week and the podcast for this week. I was pleased, which I always am, to receive some really kind and pleasant feedback from this client, just letting me know that the reading resonated with her, and she appreciated the fact that I gave her a job, which I know that a lot of people don't think of tarot readers that way, but when your tarot reader's a coach, that's what you get. So anyway, you guys have a fantastic week. Enjoy whatever is going on in your life. Look at all of the good and happy things, and just do a lot of deep breathing if things are tricky. All right. Oh, and naps. Naps are always good too. All right, guys. Take care. I'll talk to you next week. Bye-bye.